The Modern Millionaire Mind, Think Bold, Grow Rich, Live Free. By Imperium Audiobook. Headphone Introduction. There comes a moment when you stop chasing and start creating. When you stop looking at what others have, and finally turn inward, realizing the true wealth you've been sitting on all along. This book is about that moment. It's not about fast cars or private jets. It's about something far rarer, freedom. The freedom to think for yourself. The freedom to live on your terms. The freedom to wake up every morning knowing your life isn't controlled by fear, by lack, or by limits. This is the Modern Millionaire Mind, not a story about money but about mastery. Because the truth is, wealth doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your mind. We live in an age where attention is the new currency, distraction is the new poverty, and focus is the new superpower. The ones who win in this era aren't necessarily the most talented or the most connected. They're the ones who have built mental resilience, unshakable self-belief, and relentless clarity. Maybe you've been working hard for years, giving your best, yet somehow feeling like life is still slipping through your fingers. You've read the books, listened to the gurus, and tried the formulas, but something still doesn't click. That's because success today doesn't belong to those who follow old systems. It belongs to those who think differently. This book will show you how. It's about rewiring your inner dialogue, turning doubt into drive, hesitation into habit, and fear into fire. You'll learn how to build wealth from the inside out, starting with your thoughts, your energy, and your relationship with time, value, and growth. We'll dive deep into what separates those who wish from those who win. We'll uncover how ordinary people rise from nothing to build empires, not by luck, but by developing a framework of belief that turns vision into action, and action into destiny. Because make no mistake, the modern millionaire isn't the loudest in the room. They're the quiet executors, the disciplined dreamers, the ones who move with intention when everyone else is scrolling. They've cracked the code not just to money but to mastery, the kind that lets them grow, give, and live freely. By the end of this audiobook, you won't just understand how wealth works, you'll embody it. You'll begin to see the invisible patterns behind opportunity. You'll start to attract success by becoming the kind of person who deserves it. You'll think bolder, grow faster, and live freer. So if you're ready to break the old mental codes that have kept you stuck, if you're ready to stop surviving and start creating your life on purpose, then welcome. Take a deep breath. Forget what you've been taught about money, about success, about what's possible for someone like you. Because over the next 10 chapters, we're not just going to talk about wealth, we're going to rewire your reality. This is your new blueprint. This is your new mindset. This is the Modern Millionaire Mind. Chapter 1, The Inner Economy, How Millionaires Think Differently. Every journey to wealth begins long before the first dollar is made. It begins in silence, in the invisible space between thoughts, where belief shapes reality and perception fuels power. You see, money is only the shadow of mindset. It follows thought. It reflects identity. And if your inner economy is bankrupt, if your thinking runs on scarcity, self-doubt, and hesitation, no amount of hustle will ever save you. Because money doesn't change you. It exposes you. That's why two people can start with the same opportunity, the same resources, even the same talent, yet one creates abundance and the other struggles to survive. The difference isn't luck. The difference is mental wiring. The economy inside you. Every person operates two economies, the external one that runs on cash, markets, and transactions, and the internal one that runs on thoughts, emotions, and decisions. Most people obsess over the first. They chase paychecks, promotions, and profits. But the modern millionaire? They master the second. Because your inner economy controls every outward result. If your mind spends more energy on worry than on creation, you're already in debt, mentally. If you trade your focus for distraction, your most valuable currency is leaking every day. The richest minds know that attention is capital. They don't waste it on noise, negativity, or envy. They invest it in learning, in discipline, in vision. And that's how they grow invisible wealth, mental equity. Before they make money, they build mindset. Before they start businesses, they build belief. Before they earn millions, they become millionaires, in thought, in language, in self-image. The poverty of thought. Let's talk about what keeps most people poor, not financially but mentally. Scarcity thinking isn't about how much you have. It's about how small you believe. It's the constant voice that says, be realistic. Don't dream too big. Stay safe. That voice is the killer of potential. And it doesn't shout, it whispers every time you hesitate. The poor mindset obsesses over cost. The rich mindset obsesses over value. The poor mindset asks, what if it doesn't work? The rich mindset asks, what if it does, and I'm ready for it? The poor mindset consumes. The rich mindset creates. One spends to escape. The other invests to expand. The truth is, scarcity thinking is a mental prison built from past fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of loss. And unless you challenge it, you'll spend your life reacting instead of creating. The shift, from fear to ownership. Everything changes the day you stop thinking like a victim and start thinking like an owner. Victims blame conditions. Owners create them. Victims wait for permission. Owners move with conviction. The modern millionaire doesn't wait for the economy to improve. They become the economy. They don't chase opportunity, they generate it through vision and execution. When you begin to take ownership of your thoughts, your habits, and your responses, life stops happening to you and starts happening through you. That's when power returns. Building your inner bank account. Every thought is a transaction. Every emotion is an investment. Every habit is a recurring payment. You're either compounding wealth or debt in your mind every single day. So ask yourself, what beliefs am I compounding? What stories am I replaying? What mental assets am I protecting? The mind, like money, grows where it's managed. Feed it wisdom daily. Audit your environment weekly. Deposit positivity hourly. Protect your attention as if it were gold, because it is. Every scroll, every distraction, every useless argument, that's interest you'll never recover. When you shift your focus to value, energy, and mastery, the universe begins to respond differently. Opportunities that once seemed invisible start showing up because you're finally tuned to receive them. Why most people never build wealth? It's not because they're lazy. It's because they've been trained to think small, to survive, not to scale. Society rewards obedience, not innovation. It teaches comfort, not courage. And so millions live their entire lives playing defense, never realizing that true wealth is built by offense. You don't get rich by saving pennies. You get rich by multiplying ideas. You don't grow by avoiding risk. You grow by mastering it. But here's the key: millionaires don't take reckless risks. They take calculated ones, informed by insight, guided by systems, and fueled by belief. Because wealth isn't gambling. It's strategy. And the first strategy is mindset. The millionaire's equation. There's a formula every high achiever learns, whether they know it consciously or not. It's simple but life-changing. Mindset times skill set times execution equals wealth. If your mindset is weak, your results shrink, no matter how hard you work. If your mindset is strong, every skill you build multiplies your return. That's why the top 1% spend more time managing their thinking than managing their tasks. They journal. They meditate. They plan their days before the world tells them what to do. They treat their mental state like a business asset, because it is. The inner shift. At some point you must decide. Will you keep living by your circumstances, or by your choices? Every time you choose focus over distraction, you grow richer mentally. Every time you choose courage over fear, your inner economy expands. Every time you choose growth over gossip, you make a deposit into your future. You may not see it immediately, but the compound effect is unstoppable. One powerful thought leads to one bold action, which creates one major shift, and suddenly life begins to open. That's how the modern millionaire is built. Not overnight. Not by chance. But through intentional compounding choices that reshape their identity day by day. The wealth mindset in action. So what does it look like in the real world? It's the single mother who starts an online business from her kitchen table and builds stability because she refused to stay small. It's the young man who chooses to learn a skill every night instead of scrolling himself numb. It's the employee who reinvents their value, becomes indispensable, and turns salary into leverage. These aren't fairy tales. They're ordinary people who decided to think differently, to rewire their inner economy before chasing the outer one. And that's what this book will do for you. Because once your thinking changes, your results have no choice but to follow. Your first wealth assignment. For the next 7 days, track your thoughts like expenses. Write down every limiting belief, every moment of self-doubt, every time you say, I can't, or, it's too late. Then rewrite it, immediately. Replace I can't with, I'm learning how. Replace it's too late with, it's my time. Replace I don't have enough with, I'm building capacity. Because wealth doesn't start with income. It starts with internal calibration. When your inner economy is abundant, your outer world eventually mirrors it. The modern millionaire doesn't wait for proof. They create it, thought by thought, choice by choice, day by day. And when you finally master that, you'll realize something profound. You were never chasing money. You were chasing mastery, and money was simply following your growth. That's the foundation. That's the beginning of your transformation. That's the inner economy. Chapter 2: Vision Engineering. Designing the life you deserve. Every skyscraper starts with a sketch. Every empire starts with an idea. Every destiny starts with a decision. And so does every millionaire. The modern millionaire doesn't stumble into success. They engineer it. They don't live by accident. They live by architecture. While the average person drifts through life reacting to circumstances, the high performer builds a blueprint so vivid that reality eventually bends to it. You see, life is not something that happens to you. It's something that's designed by you, one vision, one choice, one belief at a time. The power of a clear picture. Most people want success but can't describe it. They want freedom, but can't define what that looks like. They want wealth, but can't visualize the version of themselves capable of sustaining it. That's why they stay stuck. You cannot build what you can't see. Clarity is the foundation of creation. Imagine walking into an architect's office and saying, "I want a beautiful house." They'd ask, "What kind?" You say, "I don't know, just make it nice." That's what most people do with their lives. They hand the universe a vague request and expect a masterpiece. But the modern millionaire gives specific instructions. They see the walls before the bricks. The vision comes before the grind. Vision is a discipline, not a daydream. Dreaming is passive. Vision is precise. A dream whispers, "Someday." Vision declares, "By this date." A dream floats. Vision focuses. A dream fades when life gets hard. Vision fights back. That's why most people never manifest what they desire. They confuse fantasy with focus. The modern millionaire wakes up every day and visits the future in their mind. They walk through the house they haven't bought yet. They drive the business they haven't built yet. They rehearse conversations with clients they haven't met yet. They live there mentally before they ever live there physically. And then they return to the present and do the work to make that future non-negotiable. The blueprint of belief. Your life is the reflection of your internal design. Every habit, every decision, every result, all stem from the architecture of your beliefs. If you believe life happens to you, you design for survival. If you believe life happens through you, you design for growth. That's why belief must come before blueprint. Before the vision board, before the plan, before the hustle. There must be a quiet conviction that says, "I'm capable of creating more than what I see." The average person starts with resources. The millionaire starts with resolve. They may not have money, connections, or timing, but they have clarity. They know what they want and why it matters. And because of that, their focus cuts through chaos. How to engineer a vision that pulls you. A real vision doesn't push you, it pulls you. It has magnetic energy. It draws you out of bed before your alarm. It whispers to you even when you want to quit. Here's how you create one that does. Define your endgame. Be painfully specific. What does freedom look like? Where do you live? Who are you surrounded by? What kind of work fills your days? Set emotional anchors. Don't just visualize outcomes, feel them. How will it feel to walk into your own business? To tell your parents they'll never worry again? To know you designed this life from nothing? Emotion is the fuel that makes the vision move. Reverse engineer reality. Once you know the destination, start asking, what kind of person achieves this? Then become that person daily. Systems beat speed. Identity builds consistency. Guard the vision. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams. The wrong voices can drain the right direction. Share your plans selectively with builders, not doubters. Rehearse the future. Visit your vision every day. Write it. Speak it. Walk like it's already real. The brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality, it simply responds to repetition. The more you rehearse your future, the faster it becomes your present. The trap of reactive living. Most people live by reaction, not intention. They wake up, check messages, check notifications, check everyone else's priorities, and by 9 a.m. their entire day belongs to the world. They're building someone else's vision. But the modern millionaire guards their morning like sacred ground. Before the world speaks, they listen inward. Because vision dies in distraction. And every notification you respond to before your purpose is a withdrawal from your dream account. You can't build an empire if your attention is for sale. That's why high performers live by design. They set their days around their goals, not their goals around their days. Vision versus goals. Most people confuse goals for vision. Goals are milestones, vision is direction. Goals can be achieved, vision keeps evolving. When a goal is complete, most people stop. But when a vision drives you, finishing one goal only opens the next door. A goal is a finish line. A vision is a lifestyle. That's why millionaires don't just set resolutions. They set identities. They don't say, "I'll make $1 million." They say, I'm becoming the kind of person who creates millions in value. Because when identity changes, results follow naturally. The real-world blueprint. Look at anyone who transformed their life. Their story follows the same architecture. They saw it before it was real. They believed it when no one else did. They built it step by step until others could finally see what they always knew. The young entrepreneur who built a business from a dorm room. The artist who painted through rejections until the world called them a genius. The parent who broke a generational curse through education and discipline. Different paths, same blueprint. Vision first, validation later. You don't need people to see it. You need to stay loyal to it. Becoming the architect of your destiny. Think about it. You've been an engineer your whole life. You just didn't realize it. Every decision you've made has been designing something. Every yes and every no has built a structure. Habits, routines, relationships, beliefs. Now ask yourself, is the life you've built the one you meant to build? Or did you let the noise design it for you? If your answer makes you pause, good. That's awareness. And awareness is the architect's first tool. From today forward, don't just live in what exists. Start redesigning it. Because your environment is editable. Your habits are adjustable. Your future is under construction. You just need to pick up the pen again. The Vision Ritual. Here's a practical ritual every modern millionaire lives by. The Daily Blueprint Routine. Morning Vision Review, 10 minutes. Before you touch your phone, review your top 3 life visions. Read them aloud. Feel them. See them. Aligned action list. Write down 3 actions that move you closer to that vision today. Only 3. Simplicity sustains momentum. Night reflection. Before you sleep, ask, did my actions today align with my vision? If yes, celebrate. If not, recalibrate. Because the goal isn't perfection. It's alignment. Every day you act in harmony with your vision, you tighten the gap between who you are and who you're becoming. The millionaire mindset in practice. There's a moment in every dreamer's life when clarity becomes conviction. When they stop asking what if, and start declaring when. When they stop waiting for motivation and start moving for meaning. That's the moment your vision becomes real, not because you've achieved it yet, but because you've decided you will. The modern millionaire understands this. Vision is not about predicting the future. It's about creating it through consistency. You don't wait for the perfect moment, you make this moment perfect through purpose. Every great life you admire began with a clear design. Every empire was once a mental sketch. Every success story began when someone dared to visualize more than what their current reality allowed. Your assignment? The Vision Blueprint. Take one evening this week and disappear from the noise. No phone. No distractions. Just you, a notebook, and your future. Write in vivid detail what your ideal life looks like 5 years from today. Describe your environment, your emotions, your freedom, your income, your health, your relationships. Then ask, who must I become for this to exist? Because that's the real blueprint. Not what you want, but who you must evolve into. The modern millionaire doesn't chase outcomes. They become the kind of person who attracts them. Your dream life isn't waiting for luck. It's waiting for alignment. And the moment you design it, truly design it, the universe starts building with you. This is the art of vision engineering. And in the chapters that follow, we'll build the systems, the habits, and the resilience to turn that vision into tangible wealth, freedom, and impact. You are the architect. You are the builder. And your masterpiece, your modern millionaire life, is already under construction. Chapter 3, Discipline DNA, the unseen power behind success. Talent sparks the flame. Vision gives it direction. But discipline keeps the fire alive when the world grows cold. Every success story you admire, every millionaire you study, every legacy you want to build, all have one thing in common. They built a system of consistency strong enough to outlast emotion. Because motivation fades. Excitement wears off. But discipline, real, daily, boring, unshakable discipline, is what separates the dreamers from the doers. The modern millionaire doesn't rely on inspiration to act. They rely on identity. They've rewired themselves to do the work whether they feel like it or not. The illusion of motivation. Most people wait to feel ready. They want to be inspired first, then they'll start. But motivation is a mood, not a method. It's temporary fuel, not the engine. You don't build empires by chasing inspiration. You build them by building momentum. That's why millionaires train their emotions like soldiers. They don't ask, do I feel like it? They ask, does it align with who I said I'd become? When you anchor your actions to identity instead of emotion, you gain power others can't understand. You stop negotiating with laziness. You stop delaying decisions. You stop making excuses that comfort you but cost you. Because you realize, discipline isn't punishment. It's protection. Protection for your vision. Protection for your future. Protection for your peace. The hidden cost of inconsistency. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," you make a withdrawal from your confidence. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your mind records it, and it starts to believe you less. That's why so many people struggle to commit. They've destroyed their own credibility. Discipline rebuilds that trust. Every day you follow through, you prove to yourself that your word has weight. And when your self-trust grows, everything else follows. Focus, confidence, results. The wealthiest people in the world don't have stronger emotions than you. They have stronger systems. They run their life like a high-performance machine. They know what time they wake up. They know what they eat. They know what their first 3 hours look like. And they guard those routines like treasure. Because those rituals are their foundation, and you can't build skyscrapers on shifting sand. The discipline myth. Many people think discipline means restriction. They think it's about saying no to fun or freedom. But the truth? Discipline creates freedom. When you build control over your actions, you gain control over your destiny. You're no longer a slave to procrastination, distraction, or fear. Think of discipline as the invisible framework behind every success story. The athlete training when nobody's watching. The creator publishing when views are low. The entrepreneur showing up when sales are slow. Discipline is the bridge between desire and destiny. You don't have to love the process every day, you just have to stay loyal to it. Because loyalty to the process builds results that motivation never could. Rituals build results. Look close enough at any high performer and you'll see the same truth. Small daily actions, repeated relentlessly, create massive transformation. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You need to build daily rituals that become non-negotiable. Here's what that looks like. Morning activation. A modern millionaire doesn't wake up and scroll. They start with silence, gratitude, movement, or learning. They prime their mind before the world programs it. Focused work blocks. They work in deep, undistracted sessions. No notifications, no multitasking, just one priority that matters. Evening reflection. Before sleep, they evaluate. What worked? What didn't? What can be optimized tomorrow? These rituals compound, like interest in a bank account. Each repetition strengthens your identity. Each habit tightens your focus. Discipline done long enough becomes default. The war within. The hardest battle you'll ever fight is the one between your potential and your comfort zone. Comfort whispers, "Rest, you deserve it." Potential whispers, "Rise, you're built for more." Every time you choose discipline, you side with your potential. You affirm to your subconscious, "We're not average anymore." And that's when transformation begins, not when you win once, but when you stop losing to yourself. Because the real enemy isn't failure. It's inconsistency. Failure teaches. Inconsistency erases. You can't improve what you abandon. So stay in the game. Even when it's dull. Even when it's slow. Even when progress feels invisible. That's when the compounding starts, silently, powerfully, relentlessly. Discipline is self-respect. You can't claim to love your dreams if you won't protect them with your habits. You can't say you value growth while betraying your own schedule. Discipline isn't self-denial, it's self-respect in motion. Every time you honor your plan, you're saying, "I believe in my future enough to show up today." That's power. That's maturity. That's millionaire behavior. The world rewards people who can keep promises, especially to themselves, because the one who controls their impulses controls their outcomes. Momentum over motivation. Momentum is the millionaire's secret weapon. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't ask permission. It just builds, one action at a time. Start small. Stay consistent. Let discipline carry the days motivation can't. The gym isn't about fitness, it's about identity. The cold shower isn't about toughness, it's about control. The 5 a.m. wake-up isn't about hours, it's about ownership. Every ritual you master rewires your brain for leadership. You stop chasing energy, you create it. The 3 rules of unbreakable discipline. Decide once. Stop redeciding every day. Once you commit, it's done. The decision was made yesterday, today you just execute. Remove friction. Set up your environment to make success automatic. Lay out your clothes, prep your meals, silence your distractions. Don't rely on willpower, rely on design. Reward consistency, not perfection. You don't need perfect streaks. You need persistent returns. Miss a day? Don't spiral, resume the next day. Winners reset faster than they fail. Real-world proof. Look at any great story, discipline is the unseen hero. When Thomas Edison tested 1,000 bulbs that didn't work. When Serena Williams practiced while others celebrated. When Elon Musk worked 100-hour weeks before anyone believed in him. They weren't chasing hype. They were protecting habits. And that's the blueprint you need, consistency without applause. Do the right thing long enough and one day people will call you lucky. Designing your discipline DNA. You're not born disciplined, you build it. It's not genetic, it's engineered. Here's how. Identity shift. Stop saying, I'm trying to be disciplined. Start saying, I'm a disciplined person. Language programs behavior. System design. Build a daily structure that supports your goals instead of sabotaging them. Schedule priorities, don't prioritize your schedule. Accountability loop. Track your progress. Measure your wins. Celebrate small victories. What gets measured improves. Energy management. Rest is part of discipline too. You can't perform if you're perpetually drained. Balance execution with recovery. The invisible dividend. Discipline always pays even when it looks like it's not. Every early morning, every extra rep, every late night, every sacrifice, they all add up to invisible compound interest in your future. And one day when others wonder how you did it, you'll smile, because you'll know you simply stayed consistent longer than they stayed interested. That's the real secret. Success isn't about intensity. It's about endurance. Your assignment, the discipline contract. Tonight, write a short contract to yourself. I, your name, commit to becoming the architect of my habits. I will show up even when it's inconvenient. I will keep promises to myself because my future deserves my consistency. I will live by design, not by emotion. I am discipline in motion. Sign it, date it, post it somewhere visible. Because the moment you keep that first promise, you're no longer chasing success, you're embodying it. Discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It's the door that leads to it. Build your discipline DNA, and watch your results evolve from effort to inevitability. Chapter 4, Energy Mastery, Controlling the Power that Drives Performance. Energy, the invisible currency that fuels everything you do. You can have all the talent, intelligence, and opportunity in the world, but without energy, none of it matters. The difference between people who merely survive and those who dominate their goals isn't intelligence. It's energy management. Because energy is more than physical stamina, it's mental clarity, emotional control, and spiritual alignment. It's the electricity behind every dream, every decision, every moment of focus. The modern millionaire doesn't just protect their time, they protect their energy ecosystems. They understand this truth. You don't run out of time. You run out of energy before you run out of hours. The hidden source of power. Most people treat energy like luck. Some days they feel it, other days they don't, as if it's random. But the truth is, energy is engineered. It's not something you find, it's something you build, cultivate, and manage. You build it by aligning your habits with your purpose. You protect it by removing people and patterns that drain you. You expand it by doing work that lights you up instead of work that burns you out. The high performers you admire don't have endless stamina because they're superhuman. They simply stopped leaking their energy on things that didn't matter. The 4 dimensions of energy. To master energy, you must understand it exists in 4 layers, each feeding the other. Physical energy, body. Your body is the vehicle. You can't drive far if the engine's neglected. Food, movement, hydration, and sleep, these aren't fitness habits. They're performance investments. You can't think like a millionaire while living like a zombie. Mental energy, focus. Every decision drains mental fuel. That's why indecision is the biggest energy leak. Simplify your choices. Automate what doesn't matter. Save your brain power for what actually moves the needle. Emotional energy, state. You can't perform at a high level if you're constantly in emotional debt. Let go of grudges, comparison, and gossip. They drain power faster than any task. Emotional stability is the quiet superpower of high achievers. Spiritual energy, purpose. This is the deepest layer, your why. Purpose gives meaning to struggle. It turns exhaustion into endurance. When your mission is clear, your motivation becomes renewable. Each layer supports the next. Neglect one and the others suffer. Master all 4 and you become unstoppable. Energy leaks, the silent killers of ambition. Here's the truth, most people don't fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they waste their power on the wrong things. Energy leaks hide in plain sight. Toxic people. Every conversation is an exchange. Stop paying attention to those who drain more than they deposit. Unfinished tasks. Open loops clutter your mind. Finish small things quickly or delete them entirely. Multitasking, it's not productivity, it's self-sabotage disguised as efficiency. Neglecting recovery, even machines need to cool down. Burnout isn't a badge, it's a bill. Ask yourself daily, where is my energy going that doesn't deserve it? Audit your inputs. Curate your environment. Remember, your energy is the most valuable asset you'll ever own. Spend it intentionally. The rhythm of high performance. High performers don't work harder. They work in rhythm. They understand energy flows and cycles, peaks and valleys, and they design their day to match them. Your willpower, focus, and creativity aren't constant. They rise and fall like tides. So instead of forcing constant output, design around your natural rhythm. Here's how the modern millionaire does it. Peak hours equals deep work. Schedule your hardest, most valuable tasks when your energy is highest. For most people, that's the first 4 hours after waking. Midday reset. Don't push through fatigue, reset it. A short walk, deep breathing, or even silence can reboot your clarity. Evening wind down. No screens, no chaos. Review your wins, plan tomorrow, then disconnect. Protect your mind's rest the same way you protect your phone's battery. Because discipline isn't about doing more, it's about managing energy better. Fueling the body for performance. You can't run a race on empty fuel. Yet most people try to chase big dreams while feeding their bodies like it's an afterthought. The modern millionaire eats for energy, not entertainment. They understand that every bite either builds focus or breaks it. Eat light, think sharp. Heavy meals slow mental clarity. Hydrate constantly. Even mild dehydration cuts focus by 30%. Move daily. You don't need a gym, you need movement. Sleep like it's strategy. Because it is. Sleep is not laziness, it's leadership. It's when your brain repairs, your hormones balance, and your creativity resets. If you sacrifice sleep for hustle, you're not building success, you're burning your foundation. The mental game of energy. Mental energy isn't just about focus, it's about boundaries. Every yes you say without thought becomes a leak. Every distraction you allow becomes a drain. The modern millionaire guards their attention like treasure. They understand that mental clutter costs real progress. To master mental energy, work with intention, not impulse. Design a distraction-free zone for deep work. Practice mental fasting. Go 1 hour a day without stimulation. Stillness is a forgotten skill in our hyper-connected world, but it's in stillness that power resets. Emotional energy, the hidden battery. Most people underestimate how much emotion controls their performance. You can't create powerfully if you're emotionally exhausted. Every argument, every resentment, every negative loop drains energy that should be fueling your growth. The wealthy don't avoid emotions, they master them. They practice emotional intelligence. Pause before reacting. Understand before responding. Let go faster. The faster you process emotion, the faster you regain energy. Because emotional clutter is like carrying bricks in your mind, it slows everything down. Forgive not because they deserve peace, but because you deserve energy. Purpose, the renewable source. When you align your actions with a higher purpose, exhaustion turns into endurance. You no longer drag yourself toward success, you're pulled by meaning. That's why every modern millionaire knows their why. Money alone won't sustain you. Fame won't fill you. Only purpose will. When you work for something bigger than yourself, your family, your legacy, your calling, you tap into an energy source that never runs out. Purpose gives struggle context. It turns pain into progress. It transforms discipline into devotion. Energy as a lifestyle. Energy mastery isn't just about hacks. It's a way of living. It's saying no to chaos and yes to clarity. It's waking up with intention and ending the day with peace. It's choosing environments that energize you, people who elevate you, and habits that recharge you. Because success isn't built in bursts, it's sustained by balance. When you learn to manage your energy, you stop fighting your days and start flowing through them. Work feels lighter. Ideas flow easier. Focus lasts longer. You don't need to push harder, you need to align better. The Modern Millionaire Energy Code. To master your energy, follow this simple code. Protect the morning. No phone, no chaos, only clarity. Your first hour sets your emotional tone for the next 10. Fuel with intention. What you eat, read, and listen to, that's what you become. Junk input equals junk output. Move daily. Physical motion creates emotional momentum. Recharge strategically. Take breaks before burnout takes you. Sleep is success. Rest like the future depends on it, because it does. Energy mastery is about ownership, not of time but of self. Your assignment, the energy audit. Tonight, take inventory of your energy leaks. Write down everything and everyone that leaves you feeling drained: habits, apps, routines, even conversations. Then rate each from 1 to 10. Anything below a 7? Redesign it. Replace it. Release it. Next, list your energy chargers. What fuels you, excites you, centers you. Schedule more of that. You can't perform like a millionaire on a battery built for survival. You must design your environment to feed your power daily. Because energy is not infinite, but it is renewable when managed with mastery. When you finally take control of your energy, your world changes. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop dragging yourself through life and start driving it. And that's when you realize you were never tired, you were just misaligned. The moment you align your body, mind, and purpose, you unlock a power most people never experience. Not just the energy to achieve, but the energy to enjoy what you've achieved. That is energy mastery. That is the true wealth behind performance. That is how the modern millionaire powers their empire, from the inside out. Chapter 5, Focus Architecture. Designing the mind of a high performer. Focus is the new luxury. In a world addicted to noise, the rarest skill isn't intelligence or creativity, it's the ability to lock in. Think about it. Most people don't lose to lack of talent. They lose to distraction. Their potential doesn't die in failure. It dies in fragments, scattered across notifications, scrolling, and constant reaction. You can't build greatness in fragments. To create something extraordinary, you need deep, sustained attention, the kind of focus that bends time and reshapes outcomes. This is what I call focus architecture, the deliberate design of your mind, habits, and environment to produce clarity on command. It's how high performers think, operate, and build, not by accident but by design. Because in the modern world, focus isn't something you have. It's something you engineer. The war for your attention. Every app, every platform, every headline, they're not serving you. They're competing for you. Your attention is their currency. Your focus is their profit. And your distraction is their business model. Every second you give to meaningless scrolling is a second stolen from your future. Every morning you start with chaos, you surrender control before the day even begins. So the high performer makes a choice, not to live in reaction but to live in intention. They wake up and design their focus before the world designs it for them. Because you can't win a war you don't know you're fighting. Clarity, the blueprint of focus. You can't focus on what you don't understand. That's why clarity always comes before productivity. High performers don't wake up wondering what to do, they decide it the night before. Clarity eliminates confusion. Confusion breeds procrastination. And procrastination kills momentum. So before you chase results, ask, what truly matters today? If your answer isn't clear, your focus won't be either. Write it down. Define it. What's your single biggest lever today, the one action that moves everything else forward? That's your North Star. Everything else is noise. The science of deep work. Deep work is the superpower of the modern world, the ability to work in long, undisturbed stretches on something that matters. But deep work doesn't happen by chance, it's built on systems. Cal Newport once said, to produce at your peak level, you need to work for extended periods with full concentration on a single task, free from distraction. That's the essence of focus architecture. To build it, you must create mental walls between your tasks, your time, and your environment. Task segregation. Never mix creation with consumption. Don't write while checking messages. Don't build while browsing. Every time you switch tasks, you lose focus currency. Time blocking. Schedule focus like an appointment, non-negotiable. Treat it as sacred as a meeting with your future self. Environmental control. Your mind mirrors your environment. Cluttered space equals cluttered thoughts. Clean your desk. Dim the noise. Guard your zone. Single task rituals. Before you begin, breathe, stretch, and signal to your brain that focus time has started. Rituals build neural pathways. They teach your brain to enter flow faster. Focus isn't about trying harder. It's about designing smarter. Mental architecture, the builder's mind. Your focus is only as strong as your mental architecture, the internal design of your thought process. Here's what high performers do differently. They think in systems, not bursts. They prioritize depth, not speed. They pursue progress, not perfection. They've built a mental architecture that filters everything through 3 questions. Does this move me closer to my vision? Is this the best use of my attention right now? If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? That last question alone can transform your life. Because every yes costs something: focus, energy, or time. And when you start measuring those costs, you stop spending your attention on cheap things. The myth of multitasking. Multitasking isn't mastery, it's mental scattering. Your brain isn't a parallel processor, it's a spotlight. And when you shine that light on everything, nothing burns bright. Every time you switch tasks, you lose 20 to 40% of your productivity to context switching. That means every interruption, every ping, every tab, every quick check, costs you compound focus. The modern millionaire doesn't multitask. They monotask. They don't chase dopamine, they chase depth. They don't want stimulation, they want satisfaction. The satisfaction of doing one thing exceptionally well instead of 10 things halfway. Designing focus rituals. Focus is like a muscle, it grows through repetition. So the modern achiever builds daily rituals to strengthen it. Try this simple, powerful framework. The 90-minute rule. Work in uninterrupted 90-minute blocks. No phone, no noise, no switching. Then rest for 15. The 3-task rule. Choose 3 high-value tasks for the day, no more. 1 deep task, creation, 1 growth task, learning, 1 life task, maintenance. Digital detox windows. Set hours where all devices are off. No input, just processing. Mind reset moments. Every few hours, take 60 seconds to breathe deeply and refocus. You'd be shocked how much clarity that brings back. Discipline isn't about working non-stop, it's about controlling when you work fully. Focus killers, the enemies within. If you want to protect your focus, you must first identify what destroys it. Here are the top 5 focus killers that silently sabotage success. Notifications. Every ping is a microfracture in your attention span. Turn them off. All of them. Your phone shouldn't control your day, you should. Reactive mornings. Checking messages first thing trains your brain to be a responder, not a creator. Start your day in silence, not in stimulation. Overcommitment. Every unnecessary yes is a theft from your future. Learn to say no, with grace but firmness. Perfectionism. Focus dies when fear of imperfection takes over. Action beats precision, every time. Mental clutter. If you don't clear your mind, it will clutter your focus. Journal, meditate, or walk, just make room for clarity. The more you protect your mental bandwidth, the sharper your edge becomes. Flow state, the ultimate focus mode. Flow is that magical state where time disappears and performance peaks. It's not luck, it's a neurochemical alignment. When challenge meets skill and distraction is eliminated, dopamine, norepinephrine, and endorphins flood your system. You feel powerful, clear, unstoppable. High performers engineer their environment to trigger flow faster. Clear goals. Zero distractions. Immediate feedback. Deep engagement. Flow isn't just where work happens, it's where greatness is born. And once you experience it, you'll do everything to return to it. Because flow is freedom, the freedom to create at your highest level. Focus and identity. Here's the truth. You can't build focus without building identity. You don't stay consistent because you're disciplined, you stay consistent because you see yourself differently. When you tell yourself, I'm easily distracted, you're training your brain to believe it. When you affirm, I am laser-focused, calm, and deliberate, your subconscious adjusts to match. Identity drives focus. Focus drives results. Results reinforce identity. That's the loop of mastery. You don't need motivation to focus. You need a focused identity. The focus code. Here's the code high performers live by. Silence the noise before it silences your purpose. Design your days around depth, not distraction. Protect your mornings like a fortress. Move from reaction to creation. Remember, what you focus on expands. Focus isn't about controlling time, it's about directing attention. And when you direct attention with intention, you create momentum that compounds daily. Your assignment: build your focus architecture. Tonight, design your environment for deep focus. Turn off every unnecessary notification. Declutter your workspace. Decide your focus blocks for tomorrow. Choose one core goal, and commit to seeing it through uninterrupted. Then every morning ask yourself, am I controlling my attention or is something else controlling it for me? You can't buy focus. You can only build it. And those who build it rule their world. Because once your focus becomes your fortress, distractions become powerless. Noise fades. Doubt fades. Clarity rises. You stop chasing time and start bending it. You stop reacting to life and start architecting it. That's the power of focus mastery. That's how high performers rise above chaos and move mountains while others drown in motion. So build your focus like a cathedral. One brick, one block, one day at a time. And soon you'll look around and realize, the world didn't change, your focus did. And that changed everything. Chapter 6, The Discipline Equation. Turning Consistency into Power. Discipline. The word most people fear, and yet the one every winner lives by. You see, success doesn't start with motivation. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire that keeps it alive. It's the difference between short bursts of effort and long-term transformation. Because the truth is, motivation fades. Discipline stays. Motivation is how you start. Discipline is how you finish. And in a world obsessed with quick wins, it's the disciplined few who rise quietly, consistently, and powerfully, building lives that look effortless, but are fueled by structure. This chapter is about that structure. The discipline equation, the formula that turns fleeting effort into unstoppable consistency. The illusion of motivation. Let's get one thing straight. Motivation is unreliable. It's emotional, unpredictable, and often triggered by external factors. A quote, a video, a feeling. But feelings don't finish what they start. If you only work when you feel like it, you'll never achieve anything remarkable. High performers understand this. They know motivation is a tool, not a foundation. So they replace the question, how do I stay motivated? With, how do I stay consistent when motivation dies? That's where discipline comes in. It's the bridge between desire and result. The equation that changes everything. Let's break down discipline into a simple, powerful equation. Discipline equals clarity plus structure plus repetition plus emotion control. Every piece matters. Miss one and the whole system weakens. Clarity gives direction. Structure creates reliability. Repetition builds identity. Emotion control sustains momentum. That's how the disciplined operate, not through willpower but through systems that make success automatic. Step 1. Clarity, the anchor of discipline. You can't stay disciplined about something you don't understand. Clarity means knowing why something matters. Because if your why isn't strong, your willpower won't survive the storm. Every disciplined person begins with a vision that burns deeper than their excuses. When the alarm rings, they don't argue with themselves. They act because their purpose is already decided. Clarity turns I have to into I choose to. And that single shift changes everything. Write down your vision, not in vague dreams but in vivid detail. Who are you becoming? What habits define that version of you? How would they move, think, and execute? That's your clarity. That's your anchor. Step 2. Structure, the framework that frees you. Most people think discipline limits freedom. But structure creates freedom. Think of it like this. A pilot doesn't get lost in the clouds because they have instruments. A disciplined person doesn't get lost in chaos because they have systems. Structure removes decision fatigue. It eliminates randomness. When your habits are structured, you no longer rely on mood, you rely on mechanism. Want to change your life? Don't change your goals. Change your systems. Design your day like an architect. Morning, prime your mind, move, plan, focus. Midday, execute your highest value tasks. Evening, reflect, recharge, and review your wins. Repeat it enough and your structure becomes muscle memory. That's when discipline stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like rhythm. Step 3. Repetition, the power multiplier. Discipline grows through repetition, the unglamorous consistency of showing up. The best don't train when they feel good. They train until it feels natural. Repetition is how the brain rewires itself. Every act of discipline strengthens neural pathways that make behavior automatic. That's why habits matter. They turn intention into instinct. Want to build unshakable consistency? Start small but repeat relentlessly. 5 minutes of focus done daily beats 1 hour done occasionally. Progress isn't about volume, it's about frequency. You don't rise by doing more, you rise by doing it again. Step 4. Emotion control, the final frontier. Here's where most people fail. They build clarity, they plan structure, they repeat actions. But they still crumble because they can't control their emotions. Discipline means doing what's right even when it feels wrong. When tired. When bored. When doubting. Because emotion is temporary, but outcome is permanent. High performers treat emotions like weather. They observe them, but they don't obey them. They know storms pass, and the only thing worse than feeling discomfort is letting it control your destiny. Emotional discipline means refusing to negotiate with excuses. You don't debate with procrastination, you move through it. That's what separates the exceptional from the average. The ability to act independent of feeling. Discipline in real life. Let's bring this home, because discipline isn't theory. It's a living, breathing habit. Think about your life right now. Every result you see, your income, your fitness, your mindset, is a reflection of your discipline patterns. You're already disciplined. You're just disciplined in certain things, maybe in checking your phone, maybe in complaining, maybe in doubting yourself. The goal isn't to find discipline, it's to redirect it. You don't lack discipline. You've just been practicing it in the wrong direction. If you can scroll for an hour, you can study for 30 minutes. If you can commit to worry, you can commit to work. If you can stay consistent in distraction, you can stay consistent in growth. Redirect your discipline and your results will follow. Discipline and identity. You can't fake consistency. It's an identity, not a schedule. You stay disciplined not because you're told to, but because you see yourself as the kind of person who does what needs to be done. Discipline sticks when it becomes who you are, not just what you do. So stop trying to force habits. Start building identity. Say to yourself, I am a person who follows through. I am the kind of person who finishes what I start. I am someone who keeps promises to myself. The more you live in alignment with that identity, the less resistance you face. Discipline becomes expression, not pressure. The myth of balance. Discipline doesn't mean rigidity. It means alignment. Balance isn't doing everything equally. It's giving everything the right weight at the right time. Some seasons require grind. Others require recovery. Both are part of discipline. Rest is not a reward, it's responsibility. Because without recovery, consistency collapses. Discipline is sustainable only when it's built with respect for your energy cycles. Push, rest, grow, repeat. That's how you build longevity without burnout. The discipline feedback loop. Here's the beauty of discipline, it compounds. Every small win builds confidence. Every repetition strengthens your identity. Every act of follow-through silences doubt. And soon what once felt difficult becomes your new default. That's when you realize, you're not chasing motivation anymore. You've become momentum itself. The discipline equation applied. Let's tie it all together with a simple framework. Element, purpose, example, clarity, know why it matters. I'm building financial freedom. Structure, set predictable systems. I'll work 2 hours every morning. Repetition, reinforce habit. No 0 days, something daily. Emotion, control, act despite feeling even tired. I'll show up for 10 minutes. When all four align, discipline becomes effortless. Not because it's easy, but because it's integrated. You're not fighting your habits. You're powered by them. Your assignment? Design your discipline equation. Grab a notebook tonight and answer these. What are the top 3 areas of your life where inconsistency costs you most? What clarity, your why, drives each one? What structure will make those habits unavoidable? What emotional pattern do you need to stop obeying? Then commit, not to perfection but to repetition. Every day you show up, you reinforce the signal that you're serious. And the universe doesn't respond to talent. It responds to consistency. Discipline is freedom disguised as effort. Because when you master yourself, you stop being a slave to circumstance. You stop waiting for motivation and start moving regardless. You stop dreaming of change and start engineering it. And soon, while others chase hype, you're building quiet empires, brick by brick, day by day. That's the discipline equation. That's how ordinary people do extraordinary things. Because at the end of the day, the most powerful force on earth isn't talent, luck, or timing. It's the human being who keeps showing up long after everyone else stopped. That's the essence of greatness. That's the rhythm of mastery. That's the heartbeat of the modern millionaire mind. Chapter 7, The Psychology of Patience. Building momentum without burning out. In a world obsessed with speed, the rarest currency is patience. Everyone wants to win fast, but no one wants to wait for the roots to grow before expecting the fruit. Yet every modern millionaire understands a universal truth. Success that lasts is always built on delayed gratification. Patience isn't weakness. It's power under control. It's the ability to move fast but think slow. To act daily but wait calmly for results. Look around. Most people quit not because they lack potential, but because they lack patience. They mistake progress for stagnation simply because it's not instant. They plant a seed and dig it up the next day to see if it's growing. But wealth, real wealth, is like nature. It has its seasons. It rewards those who can work through the cold without losing faith in the spring that's coming. 1. The illusion of overnight success. Social media has made patience look outdated. You scroll and it feels like everyone else figured it out. $1,000,000 businesses, perfect bodies, endless vacations. But here's the truth, what you see took years. You're looking at the highlight reel, not the grind tape. Every overnight success had hundreds of unseen nights filled with doubt, failure, and discipline. The problem is, most people stop right before their breakthrough because they underestimate the gap between planting and harvesting. Millionaires think long-term. They don't trade consistency for applause. They understand that anything that comes too fast often disappears just as fast. Because you don't just earn success, you become the kind of person who can sustain it. 2. Patience builds character, and character sustains wealth. Patience is more than waiting. It's how you wait. It's the emotional discipline of staying focused when results seem invisible. It's easy to work hard for a week. It's easy to stay motivated when progress is obvious. But real mastery is built in the quiet seasons. When no one's watching, when the returns aren't instant, when you keep showing up anyway. Patience shapes character. And character determines how long your wealth lasts. You can't skip the process because the process is what shapes your identity. Millionaires don't rush maturity, they embrace it. They know that slow growth builds deep roots. And deep roots make you storm-proof. 3. The formula of sustainable momentum. Momentum isn't about speed, it's about consistency multiplied by time. Every small, repeated effort compounds. One disciplined day won't change your life, but 1,000 will. And that's where patience becomes your best friend. When you understand compounding, you stop forcing outcomes and start focusing on inputs. You stop counting days and start counting disciplines. The modern millionaire knows. Lightbulb patience equals trust in the process. Lightbulb consistency equals fuel for progress. Lightbulb faith equals vision beyond sight. The combination of those three creates a force that no obstacle can slow down. You don't have to sprint every day, you just have to keep moving forward no matter how small the step. Because consistency beats intensity when the race is long. 4. Burnout, the price of impatience. Burnout isn't caused by overworking, it's caused by working without fulfillment. When you rush the process, you rob yourself of the joy of growth. You start forcing outcomes instead of flowing with your evolution. Impatience makes you believe you're behind when in reality you're just becoming. Every person you admire once felt stuck in the same place you are, but they stayed, refined, improved. Millionaires don't chase validation, they chase alignment. They don't sprint to impress others, they move with purpose to master themselves. So when your progress feels slow, remind yourself, slow is smooth. Smooth becomes fast. Every season has its lesson. And every delay hides preparation. Trust it. 5. The millionaire's calm, mastering emotional timing. If you want to win big, you have to think like a chess player, not a gambler. The impulsive mind trades emotion for logic. The patient mind waits for the right move. That's why millionaires don't react, they respond. They understand the art of emotional timing. They know that energy wasted on panic is energy stolen from progress. Patience gives you control over your emotions, your expectations, and your direction. Because when everyone else is rushing, patience makes you see opportunities they can't. And that's what gives you the edge. 6. Redefining success, from urgency to alignment. The world says, hurry up. The millionaire mind says, hold steady. True success isn't about speed, it's about sustainability. It's not how fast you reach your goal, it's how strong you stand once you're there. You can build something fast, or you can build something that lasts. Choose lasting. Because when you choose patience, you choose wisdom. And wisdom, when multiplied over time, creates inevitable success. Patience is not passive, it's strategic stillness. It's the calm in the storm, the discipline in the drought, the confidence that the roots are growing even when you can't see them. So, slow down, not to stop but to see clearer. Trust your pace. Trust your growth. Trust that what's meant for you is already in motion. Because in the end, the difference between those who burn out and those who break through is patience. Patience to build the right habits. Patience to learn the right lessons. Patience to become the version of yourself that can handle everything you've been asking for. Remember this truth. The universe rewards patience with timing. And when your time comes, it will be perfect. Chapter 8, The Law of Leverage, Multiplying Time, Value, and Impact. Every person on earth has the same 24 hours, but not everyone lives the same day. Some live the same day 1,000 times over and call it a life. Others live one day so intentionally, so powerfully leveraged, that it transforms their entire future. The difference isn't time, it's leverage. The truth is, millionaires don't work harder. They multiply smarter. They've mastered the art of turning one effort into many outcomes, one idea into a dozen results, one moment of courage into a lifetime of momentum. Leverage is the secret tool of the wealthy, the invisible bridge between effort and exponential growth. Let's start with something simple. Picture two people. The first wakes up, opens their laptop, and spends 10 hours chasing clients, doing every task manually. The second wakes up, spends 1 hour building a system that will do that work for them, and then goes for a walk, A year later, one is exhausted and barely surviving. The other is thriving, earning 10 times more and living on their terms. That's the law of leverage in motion. You see, the modern millionaire doesn't ask, "How can I do more?" They ask, "How can this do more for me?" That simple shift turns effort into empire. It's not laziness, it's strategy. Because if your dream depends on your constant presence, then you don't own your dream, it owns you. Let's break it down. There are 4 types of leverage the modern millionaire uses, and each multiplies freedom. 1. Time leverage, buy back your minutes. You can't be everywhere, but systems can. A millionaire doesn't just manage time, they purchase it. They automate tasks, hire talent, and build habits that give them hours others waste. Every yes they give to what matters means saying no to what doesn't. You might say, "But I can't afford to hire anyone." Here's the shift: you can't afford not to. Because every hour spent doing low-value work steals from the high-value creation only you can do. The moment you delegate, you multiply. You give your energy back to strategy, vision, and creation, the real wealth drivers. Millionaires buy time. The poor trade it. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. 2. Skill leverage, be so good they can't ignore you. Skills are the currency of leverage. One powerful skill, storytelling, sales, coding, leadership, strategy, can create infinite returns. The key is not having many skills but multiplying one skill through mastery. Think about it: Warren Buffett mastered capital allocation. Elon Musk mastered first principle thinking. Oprah mastered empathy and connection. They didn't chase trends, they multiplied mastery. The world pays you not for your effort but for your impact. And impact comes from skills that move people, solve problems, or shape futures. So every day ask, how can I grow my value 1% today? How can I make my skills so undeniable that the world can't ignore me? That's leverage. 3. Network leverage, build power through people. Your next level rarely comes from your next idea, it comes from your next connection. Wealth flows through relationships. The right people collapse timelines. When you surround yourself with thinkers, creators, executors, your entire energy upgrades. The modern millionaire doesn't hoard knowledge. They exchange it. They ask better questions, add value, and connect people together. They don't seek opportunities, they create ecosystems. There's a quote that says, "If you're the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong room." But the truth is deeper: if you're the only one working, you're in the wrong system. Every powerful empire was built by a collective, not a lone genius. You build wealth by building people. And those people, in return, build wealth with you. 4. Financial leverage, make money work harder than you. Money is energy. It wants to move, multiply, and return with interest. But most people cling to it in fear, and fear kills flow. Millionaires understand that every shilling, dollar, or cent is a potential employee. They give each one a job. Investing isn't gambling, it's direction. Every dollar should work for you while you sleep so you can wake up to options instead of obligations. And here's the beautiful truth: you don't need a lot to begin. You only need a decision that from today forward, your money must have purpose. Start small, learn fast, stay disciplined, and watch compound growth turn your patience into profit. Leverage isn't about shortcuts. It's about expansion. It's not doing less, it's doing what matters most and letting systems, people, and capital carry the rest. When you master leverage, time bends. Effort multiplies. And what once took you years begins to happen in months. Remember, you are not in the business of doing everything. You are in the business of building systems that can do anything. The future doesn't belong to the hardest workers. It belongs to the most leveraged thinkers. Those who can multiply the value of their minutes, their minds, and their moves. So, the next time you catch yourself saying, "I don't have enough time," pause and reframe it: "I haven't built enough leverage yet." That single mindset shift can transform your life. Because in the end, freedom doesn't come from hours, it comes from impact per hour. And when you understand that, truly, deeply, you stop chasing more and start creating multiplier moments. That's how modern millionaires live free. That's how they grow faster. That's how they build legacies that echo long after they're gone. Chapter 9, The Energy of Wealth. Protecting your focus, flow, and fire. There's a certain kind of power that doesn't come from money, talent, or opportunity, it comes from energy. The invisible pulse behind every success story. The current that drives your focus, your creativity, your resilience, and your ability to rise again when the world says, "You're done." Every millionaire, every visionary, every person who has built something truly great, they all have one thing in common: they protect their energy like treasure. They understand that wealth isn't built by working until you collapse. it's built by mastering your inner charge. The truth is we don't run out of time. We run out of energy. And in this modern world, where distraction is everywhere and burnout is celebrated as grind culture, your ability to protect your focus, your flow, and your fire is everything. Let's make something clear. Energy isn't just physical. It's mental, emotional, and spiritual. And when one area leaks, the whole system weakens. You can't build an empire on exhaustion. You can't create brilliance while you're drowning in noise. Millionaires know this. That's why they treat their energy like capital, because it is capital. 1. Focus energy, the power of presence. There's a war for your attention. Every ping, every scroll, every notification is designed to steal your focus and scatter your mind into 1,000 directions. But focus, deep, unbroken focus, is the weapon of the elite. When you train your mind to stay locked in, you multiply your power. Because every distraction has a cost, not just in time but in mental reset. Millionaires understand that where energy goes, results grow. They build focus rituals, phones off, environments clean, priorities clear. They protect mornings like sacred ground, because that's when the world is quiet and their energy is pure. The modern millionaire doesn't chase urgency, they create intentionality. They know that every yes must serve the bigger picture. And when they say no, it's not rejection, it's direction. If you want to multiply your results, don't just do more. Focus more deeply. Because intensity, not duration, is what shapes destiny. 2. Emotional energy, the power of stability. Wealth loves calm minds. And calm minds make clear moves. The broke mindset reacts. The millionaire mindset responds. When something goes wrong, they don't panic, they pause. They breathe. They analyze. They act from power, not from fear. Here's the truth. The market doesn't reward emotion. It rewards precision. And that precision is born from emotional control. You'll notice that the more successful someone becomes, the quieter their energy gets. They don't need to shout. They don't need to prove. Their presence speaks louder than their words. Why? Because they've learned that emotional chaos burns energy faster than any physical task. So, the modern millionaire trains for peace the same way others train for performance. Meditation, reflection, gratitude, boundaries. Not as luxury, but as survival. Every time you choose peace over panic, you expand your wealth frequency. Every time you stay composed when others lose control, you rise a level higher. Because mastery of self is mastery of life. 3. Creative energy, the power of flow. Flow is that sweet spot between effort and ease, the space where work feels like play, and hours disappear in the rhythm of creation. It's the artist's zone, the athlete's groove, the entrepreneur's magic window. And here's the secret. Flow doesn't just happen. It's engineered. Millionaires build lives that invite flow. They simplify. They align passion with purpose. They remove friction from their environment. They set their days to match their natural rhythm, not society's noise. Because when you operate in flow, your energy compounds. Ideas connect faster. Confidence expands. Execution feels effortless. It's no longer about forcing results. It's about allowing greatness. If you're struggling to stay in flow, look around. Are you surrounded by chaos? Are you saying yes to too many things that drain you? Flow thrives in clarity. Chaos kills it. Build space in your day for deep work, movement, and recovery. The modern millionaire doesn't sprint endlessly, they pace strategically. They understand that rest isn't retreat, it's regeneration. For fire energy, the power of purpose. Finally, there's the energy that fuels everything, fire. That burning sense of mission that keeps you going when logic says quit. Every millionaire has a reason deeper than money. Because money alone can't sustain passion. There's something spiritual about purpose. It's what transforms discipline into devotion. The fire of purpose wakes you up early and keeps you awake with ideas that won't let go. It gives your hustle meaning and your success direction. When your why is clear, your energy becomes unstoppable. Obstacles don't disappear, you just move through them differently. Every setback becomes fuel. Every failure becomes data. Every victory becomes gratitude. Purpose turns your grind into grace. And that, right there, is the essence of the modern millionaire mind. Protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's strategic. You can't pour from an empty mind, can't create from a tired spirit, can't inspire from a drained heart. If you truly want to live free, you must learn to recharge as hard as you work. To guard your peace like it's your next investment. To build boundaries that protect your brilliance. Remember this. Focus gives you clarity. Stability gives you confidence. Flow gives you power. And purpose gives you fire. Combine all four, and you become unstoppable. Because wealth isn't about more money. It's about more energy directed toward what truly matters. And when your energy aligns with your vision, the universe responds in kind. That's how modern millionaires grow rich. That's how they think bold. And that's exactly how they live free. Chapter 10, Legacy Mode. Living free, giving bold, and the millionaire's final code. There comes a moment when the chase ends, not because you've run out of things to achieve, but because you've finally caught up with yourself. The moment you realize that the real victory wasn't in the cars, the homes, or the applause, it was in the becoming. That's what legacy mode is about. It's the point where your purpose matures beyond personal gain. Where you stop asking, how much can I take, and start asking, how much can I give? Because wealth, in its truest form, isn't about accumulation, it's about circulation. The modern millionaire doesn't measure their life by what they've earned, but by what they've enabled. The families they've fed. The lives they've lifted. The ideas they've inspired. They understand that every seed of success carries the duty to create more. You see, wealth is just energy, and when it flows, it grows. But when it's hoarded, it dies. 1. Freedom, the true currency. Freedom isn't about quitting your job. It's not about sleeping all day or escaping work. It's about choice. The ability to wake up and decide what you do, how you do it, and who you do it with. Freedom is the point where money no longer dictates your emotions. You do. It's when your schedule is built around your purpose, not your paycheck. And here's the twist. Freedom doesn't arrive at the end of your journey. It begins when you start honoring your priorities now. When you learn to say no to what drains you, when you stop living for appearances, when you stop needing validation, that's when you're already free. The modern millionaire doesn't chase validation. They chase alignment. They know that real wealth feels like peace. And that peace is the foundation of every bold move that follows. 2. Legacy, the echo of your existence. What if, years from now, someone you've never met builds their dream because of something you created, said, or shared? That's legacy. Legacy isn't about having your name carved into buildings, it's about having your impact etched into hearts. It's the way your energy continues to ripple through time, through people, through actions that outlive you. Every person you inspire, every life you elevate becomes part of that invisible chain of greatness. You're not just creating success, you're planting immortality. Ask yourself this: what do I want my life to mean? Who gets to live better because I lived it all? When you begin to answer those questions, the game changes. The cars lose their shine, the applause fades, and what remains is contribution. That's where fulfillment lives. That's where your millionaire mind reaches its highest form. 3. Growth, the eternal game. Even at the top, real winners stay students. They never retire from growth. They evolve into teachers. Every millionaire who sustains success understands that expansion is infinite. The world doesn't stand still, neither should you. Growth is your gratitude in motion. It's saying, thank you for what I've become, now let's see how much more I can give. The more you learn, the more value you create. The more you give, the more abundance flows back. Growth is the cycle of the universe. Inhale, exhale, earn, give, rise, lift. And when you align your rhythm with that flow, your wealth becomes spiritual. You stop chasing success and start channeling it. 4. The final code: think bold. Grow rich. Live free. By now you've seen the blueprint. You've walked through mindset, momentum, mastery, money, energy, and purpose. You've seen that the path isn't about hustle alone, it's about harmony. The modern millionaire mind isn't a secret club, it's a daily practice. It's every choice you make to think differently, act decisively, and live intentionally. To think bold means you dream beyond your comfort. To grow rich means you build from contribution, not comparison. To live free means you protect your peace and move in alignment with who you are becoming. You are no longer the same person who pressed play on Chapter 1. You've expanded. You've remembered what it feels like to believe again. You've started to see wealth not as numbers but as powerful stewardship. That's the true awakening, realizing that your life is your greatest enterprise. That every day you are both the CEO and the architect of your destiny. Now comes the moment that separates the dreamers from the doers, the moment of activation. Direct hit call to action, activate the code. Take a deep breath. This is your moment. From today forward, stop thinking like a consumer of life. Start operating as a creator. Make every decision from power, not from fear. Replace hesitation with movement. Replace doubt with clarity. Replace distraction with discipline. You've heard the words. Now it's time to live them. Start your morning with vision. End your day with gratitude. And in between, give your best energy to what matters most. Let your mind lead. Let your habits build. Let your legacy begin, now. Because the world doesn't need more noise, it needs more examples. And the greatest example you can ever give is your own transformation. You are the modern millionaire. You think bold. You grow rich. You live free. Now go write your legacy. The code is yours. The future is waiting.